Every moment, every moment, every night, every time, pretending, this is anything.
Who the hell is Margaret Good?
Well, hello. We were
Hey
not
there.
expecting Dave Weigel. I thought he was busy. I put it says I'm Dave Weigel.
Amy,
I didn't set it up.
check your memos, girl. How you doing,
Well,
Corey?
5 people were
So
texting
nice.
me at one time, and I just said I'm jumping on.
No, I am sick. I've got about like 102 fever right now. So forgive me, but I don't know. Life goes on, and the mission goes on, and this is a really big podcast. To have. Amy, I'm happy to have you here. I know
I
you're
can jump
working.
out so that
I know
y'all
you're
can.
working 20 hours a day. So if you
It's
want,
okay, and it's all set up. All your judges' pictures are labeled. If you need to pull it, just go to that scene and come back up.
well, I just said like get off camera. I didn't say like you can't work anymore. No, you got to do that. I'm like, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I think we should be able to figure it out. Yes, you
It's
did.
really easy, and
All
there's
the
notes
judges,
for each judge.
all the judges' pictures are there. Thank you very, very much. It's a big, big
You
part
want
of the
to know?
reveal process. Let's back up a second. This is Dave Weigel Family Court Fraud Warrior Project, proudly in its 19th month of official service to the victims of the systemic fraud and abuse in the U.S. family courts, which we know exists globally, differently. But quick 1, 2 here is, and we're going to start showing actually because the international courts are now paying attention, the actual more of the original pieces that actually birthed the project. This is a time period where like people wore suits, and I wore suits, and looks a lot better than sitting here and where this project has gotten to. Where I mean, how many times can you sit here and listen to a story about a vet getting 65% of his wages garnished? A first responder, a guy who puts his life on the line, a good guy, a father, another so freaking far from the 0.01% of people who deserve to ever endure the torture of a removal of a child. We're highlighting Corey's case here from that vision, from that vantage point. It's not just the evidence. Okay, that's so apparent in my case. It's not the horror of these little girls that are being put in harm's way in Cindy Lynn's case. It's not the proof of murder that's proven in Bryce's case. This is a look at who we do it to. How when you create a town without a police force, what type of shit grows from that garden, right? What kind of shit grows from that garden? Because I've realized that after dedicating my life to this for the last 3 years, I've told people a million times they hide in absurdity, but that is a really huge understatement here. Understatement. It's a much more dominant theme that the results and the reality of what's actually going on in people's lives are so far out of whack of any kind of reality that they're able to hide in it, right? So when Corey sits here and says, I put my life on the line for this country, and goes through, what he's gone through and what he is proudly, and not proudly, but bravely, rather, gone public with and suffered retaliation from, and is putting his ass on the line to suffer retaliation today for. Okay. We wish we would get the father's perspective a lot more. This is what you're going to hear tonight. This is what this podcast is about. This podcast is not, Corey, I'm going to tell you right now, if you start trauma dumping about your A3B space modulator that you were supposed to submit in Alabama, I'm going to cut you off because listen, our belief system here is that, and I promise you, brother, one day you're going to get there and you're going to say, holy shit, none of those particulars matter. None of those particulars matter. You know, it was like, oh, I should have had a V8. Like, no, it's like, oh, it's just organized crime. It's just organized crime. The thing is that no one's ever dreamt up of an alternative. Like, you had this opportunity, right? It's like, okay, I either fight this in the courts, the only way I know how, or I give up on my kids. And that was an option for you, to the extent of garnishing your wages 65. And let me not, take your thunder on that. Please take 10 minutes, whatever you need. Please paint a picture first before we start getting into like details and stuff of just who you are as a man, who you are as a father, who you are as a patriot. Just like the end result. How long has it been since you've seen your one child? Because don't you know, everybody, all right, Corey is certified to be able to handle life-threatening things, okay, in people's life or death response. He's perfectly fine to be the father of his other 3 children. But because he happened to step into this money-making bullshit machine, he's not a safe parent or a good enough parent or whatever they want to say parent for one of his.
Two of them. It'd be Owen and Hadley with the ex-wife. The other 2 I get along with, and like say,
okay, all right.
Yeah, so Owen and Hadley are the ones we're talking about today.
Okay, all right. I did mention it's 12 o'clock and I have a 102 fever, and I'm going to hand it over to you. Please educate the world who you are, sir.
All right, a little bit about me. I grew up in small town America. My graduating class, like 120 people in high school. Grew up in a rural area. Had a good life growing up as a kid and stuff. Did good through high school. Went off to college for a little bit. That didn't really work out so great. Joined the Army. Spent about 10 years in the Army. That's where I got married at to my ex-wife, where I have the trouble with now. I got stuck in this quagmire of the family courts. God knows. I didn't know that was the battle I was going to have to fight after coming back from war zones. 10 years in the Army, excellent service. I got out with an honorable discharge after I finished my time. Went back into government service directly after getting out. Did 2 more stints over in Afghanistan, Iraq, so that closed down. I got out, I went Army from 2001 to 2011 for the time frame perspective right there. And, I got out, like I said, did 2 years in this government service doing contracts.
I'm sorry, 2001 to 2011. So you gave 10 years of your life to service of this country as a soldier,
as in the United States Army. Yes, active duty. Counterintelligence agent in there. And
I just want to make sure for the people with the 10-second attention spans, we have. You gave 10 years of your life to this country.
Better part of all of my 20s for the most part, and a little bit of my 30s right there. So
dude, I gotta tell you, that's even worse, because I had a ball while you were getting shot at, man. I was ripping up Manhattan and having the time of my life. So,
it was a great experience. I wouldn't give it up for anything. It's just the stuff I learned, the discipline I learned, the experiences. There's bad stuff there, but it's just I wouldn't give up that opportunity for anything. I was pretty darn dedicated and patriotic back then. Like I said, just until I came back and had to deal with these family courts. But fast forward, let's say I got out in 2011. Did a little bit of government service after that. Then my wife at the time, she was doing nursing school. She wanted me to do nursing, so I was like, all right, I could transition to nursing, just give it a try. It was totally different from what I did in the Army. I did that, became a nurse in 2015.
By the way, you're a real man to be a nurse too, right? Like, because you got to face that whole stigma, wait, you're a male nurse, Doug, do you have any idea like how difficult this job is and how important a male nurse is and such like I feel like more so I'm fighting global ignorance more than anything with with this project and everything. Anyway, go ahead, my man.
So became a nurse in 2015. Started doing travel nursing in 2016. I've been doing travel nursing and contract nursing since 2016, like consistently. Got stuck in a divorce in 2017. I guess we were kind of separate maybe a year before that or whatever, kind of storm clouds were brewing and stuff. And then, man, did I get sucked into the family court. We were kind of temporarily in Florida for a little bit, even though we're really based out of Alabama, Alabama family, Alabama kids, born and raised in Alabama for the most part. But anyways, Florida took the case and they have not let go to this day. Like I said, the divorce started in 2017. It took 5 years to get a divorce. And we're not talking about large estates, large money, and like that. My kids and I, and even my ex, we got stuck in this family law quagmire for 5 years just to get a divorce. It should have been done in less than a year. But again, Florida complicating it. They just drug it out, causing emotional harm, financial harm, psychological harm. And we call it what it is, psychological torture. It's just... Yeah, I mean, it should have been in Alabama.
Family terrorism?
Yeah, we call it that. Yeah. I'm not going to. Yeah, family terrorism, exactly what it is.
A business model based upon human agony?
It is. I mean, there's no reason for there's no compelling interest for the state to be involved as they are, other than just follow the money. That's exactly what it is. But everything they take away from my kids. I mean, the amount of wealth they've drained from this family, the amount of opportunities they're taking away from my children is insane. They make ridiculous orders that just aren't even in the benefit of me, the kids, anybody, or for the kids to hang out with their siblings or be with their siblings. Like my ex-wife lives in Alabama. I live in Arkansas. At the time they had the final order back in 2021, I was living in Texas. But conceivably, how's a father or kids going to maintain a relationship when it's every other weekend visit, standard deal every other weekend, and then Wednesday nights?
It's also set up to fail. Like the supervised visitation is there to teach your children that you're a criminal, that you're a bad person. Now see your mom or your dad through this lens that they are a bad person. Also, that it's their fault.
And they try to do that. They try to set a status quo, like that. And again, there's no violence, no child abuse, no CPS involvement. I mean, you can dig through my history as much as you want. There's no drugs, no alcohol, no criminal history. I don't even have a speeding ticket.
Again, I'm sorry. I just have to interject here because someone needs to scream it from a mountaintop. Once again, a parent in the United States of America in 2026, a non-criminal was removed from his child for no finding of any criminal behavior whatsoever. No results of neglect or abuse on the children, just about money.
Just about money. And like I say, they don't care. I mean, if you want to even put it in perspective, I mean, my ex-wife in 2017, she was arrested, charged, and convicted of battery on me. The family law court, and convicted on the criminal side. Family law court didn't really care about it. I mean, I'm sure if it would have been me or whatever, they would have used that to their full advantage. But again, it should not be this complicated. Children should not be put through this stuff. That parent-child bond should not be severed like it is. The end result is since 2021, I have effectively not seen my kids since that final order came out in 2021. Have not seen the kids. They cut them off from the grandparents, their cousins, their uncle, like everything. Like once she got that final order, she just, she's safe in Alabama and got this ridiculous Florida order to this day. And I am currently in the Florida courts, still trying to fight it. But again, it's a kangaroo court. Let's call it what it is. I could write the best drafted motion. I could put the best argument forward. And just like other litigants in there, they drag families through this stuff until they just emotionally drain them, psychologically drain them, financially drain them. That's what the state's actually going for. I think most of these parents.
Oh, it's
Gestapo. You like a term,
No, it's Gestapo tactics. It's a new level. It's actually quite brilliant. We discussed a lot about the way they abuse mothers, the way they abuse fathers. It's not a gender bias thing. It's just different tactics, right? The only thing they care about is money and what's going to do the same thing. What's going to shut up dad? What's going to shut up mom? What shuts up dad is financial demise, being proposed, your money or your kids. That's what I
Yeah.
got. All right. Your money, it's a stick up. Your money or your kids. All right. It's the fact that when they fake arrest you 5 times or whatever, I don't know if that's part of your case or whatever, it paints a very, we are all hairless monkeys here, and we learn by visual conditioning. And, through, I'm going to mention it every single time. All right. The conditioning we've had in the United States of America, because something explains this, right? Why we could keep going back. The amount of people that I talk to that are going back, and I keep explaining to them, I was like, if you did anything 1,000 times in a row and lost at it, would you ever talk about the 1,001st? No, no, it's insanity. It's insanity. Yet everybody, I'm sorry, still trying to work through the system hasn't gotten, it's not broken. It's working exactly as it's designed. All right. And what the Warrior Project has already shown is that even with all this threat of retaliation and the heroes like Corey Blanton that are stepping up and saying, F you, I don't care about these repercussions. I'm going to stand up for what's right. I'm going to stand up. A father's job is to give their children a better world to live in. Some of that is getting them to college, right? Some of that is a little bit bigger shit than that. And that's what we're doing here. And that's what Corey's doing here. And I don't want to water it down. Okay. This is a rule of law thing. Like when we have an industry, and when what they're benefiting from right now is they're trying to take advantage of oh shit, we can get used to anything, right? Oh, there's 4,000 Facebook groups all bitching about like how their kids were stolen. I know the game plan. Their game plan is to drag this out, to let this go without it ever getting to a peak, and which is why our big message is, I don't care how much you hate me. It's not about me. All right. We have to come together and execute a plan. I'm happy to pass the baton to anyone who wants to take my position. Okay. Anyone who wants to take my position, but we need to stop being 4,000 people screaming at the same time that nobody hears. Right? We need to execute a plan. Right now, we're showing the world. Corey is part of the launch. You might have saw our announcement that Kristen made, that the thing that kicked off the Word Project was the 3 to 5 minute video testimonial of answer 2 questions. What do they do to your kids? What do they do to you? Now we are simply saying, we're sorry, but the world needs you to go back and traumatize yourself one more time. Really dig deep and turn your phone around and show the world how they tortured you, how they tortured your kids. Okay, we don't want to hear about your B-35 space modulator that you filed. Okay. All right. What this project's about, there are other projects. I'm not damn shit talking it. There could be a spot for it. Somebody else is better trained than me. All right.
If I get a good victory, I'll bring it up. But yeah,
listen, bro, you could be head of that division. All right. I'm smart enough to know my sphere of competency. I stay in the world that I think I know better than the next guy, and I don't kid myself when I dance in waters that I've done no work in. I will say that if you're not participating in this mission, you cannot. You're going to be faced with this. I'm telling you right now, in 5, 6, 7 years in front of your child. All right. And you're going to have to sit there and justify fundamentally why you did not participate in this project. We have already proven the U.S. Bar Association is the largest regulatory fraud of all times. They are the source. They are the source. It's from their annual reports. Already put it together. It's in black and white. It's on permanent public record. Nobody's done that. This is not a competition, people. This is not a competition. All right. We all have the same enemy. Remember? Same enemy. So the real people that are here, that are really for Corey's kids, all right, they're not going to give a shit who gets credit for. I don't want credit. Okay. First of all, it's not mine. Olga did it. Okay. Almost every single one of the genius things that we've done have been somebody else's idea. And I just knew how to structure it and put it together. And I've tried to give credit where credit was due. And if I've missed giving people credit for certain aspects, I'll do that. Please let me know. But there's only one project on the planet right now, and it's the Warrior Project. And everybody needs to get behind it, and everybody needs to show. The international courts are now looking, all right, at this very, very, very closely. We're not going to get a second chance. Nobody else has got the money to get here and do this. Okay, I'm going to be blunt. Okay, nobody else has got the money to do what I'm doing. All right, so fundamentally, all right, if you really want your kids back, I'm asking you to be big enough to separate whatever the hell it is that has kept you from participating in this project. It's probably my personality. You'll be proven right. I'm an asshole. But that doesn't take away of the brilliance of the plan and how close we are. Okay. I had to give that commercial real quick, Corey. Now that you've told people that kind of who you are, you know, and where you kind of got into this. Do you remember the first time you recognized this to be torture?
You know, I want to say the tipping point for me. Again, I call me naive. I'm naive like most Americans. You know, I see the legal system on the TV, and I think stuff's going to work out. The truth's going to come out. You know, good or win. Throw all that out the window. When you go into family court, I mean, you are dealing with criminals. I mean, the mafia would probably be better to deal with. They probably have more honor than the family court system.
The mafia never fucked with people's kids.
Yeah, well, they have a code. Family court, whatever that judge wants, whatever their opinion is for that day. I mean, you get on the wrong side, mom, dad, whoever gets on the wrong side, they will make up evidence. They will fabricate stuff. I mean, I have evidence where they fabricated stuff, whatever. You know, it could be black and white right there in your face, and these judges ignore it because they know they're protected. You can make your judicial complaints. You can make your bar complaints, and nothing ever happens. And you know, from all the complaints we put on the site there, all the complaints, I mean, what is it, like 0.1% of them actually have some action behind them? But anyway, going back to when it just clicked for me.
The actual number is 97.8% of the people who took the time to write a complaint, which means it's really 99.9%.
Yeah, okay. I mean, statistics. I mean, the statistics can't necessarily lie like that. You know, so
it's repeated 51 times. See, they thought they were cute by having a bar association in every state, because then this way they could all work a little differently, and then nobody can be held accountable to anything. But now we just flipped the script on them and now just said, okay, thank you very much, because now having the same policies in place to invalidate 99% plus of all public complaints. Corey, what if we got 111,000 complaints in your job in a year?
Usually one complaint's a pain in the butt for me.
I've
never really had any patient complaints.
Get your head around that. Let's say globally, 111,000 people complained about the job you did that day. What would happen? What would happen in the world? What would happen in the world?
A lot of it gets investigated. I mean, the HR department, they will tear into a nurse, a doctor, any kind of medical aid. I mean, they'll usually.
Are you kidding me? They wouldn't even freaking accept that as a script in Hollywood. It'd be so unbelievable.
It's not. They don't rubber stamp it. Like I say, they actually look into it, and you don't ever want to deal with HR. You know, it's a pain.
Because I mean, I come from a regulated world as well. I mean, it used to be 100%, and it still is. Yeah. My issue is really only with one guy who actually is acting outside of the realm of his actual employer and serving the bar association, because they know my machine works and they're that desperate. They understand that the clock is ticking, and their only hope, by the way, everybody listening, is that we stay small, right? That we don't get the credibility, we don't get the size, we don't get the notoriety, we don't get the grassroots. So they've got people hired to shit talk me and destroy the project like crazy, that understand behavioral sciences and understand how to manipulate, basically
classic Machiavellian tactics. They're dividing. I mean,
and all I'm going to say is, be smart enough to to do your research, okay, to understand what's going on here. I'm not pitching you, okay. Everything I've done is public. That's why I stepped into this role. I said it's going to be a lot harder for them to, destroy your credibility, Dave. Your track record. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You've done what you've done. How many people are going to be in this situation? Have the money, have the desire, have the ability to, or willingness to put your ass on the line, after you get your kids back. I did all of this just to bring shock factor, right? Shock factor to this situation. Like, what's this guy doing, right? Because otherwise we just look like a bunch of people that lost in court and that are bitching, right?
That's going back to that thing where it changed for me. I think I talked to you earlier about this. I had a motorcycle accident in 2020.
Yes.
I broke my back 7 places. Now, I didn't get paralyzed or anything, thank God. I mean, I should have been, but broke back. I had a displaced left scapula. That's a big bone that broke. That's some other smaller bones broken, like ribs or whatever. Even a month after, I'm like, hey, court, I'm really messed up. I need some time to catch up. I can't keep paying thousands a month, in alimony, and I was paying alimony to a nurse, of all things, alimony, and
because you're also a small business owner. You're 1099, right?
I was 1099 W-2 back then. After 2020, I went to small business. Like I said, that's when I went off the rails. Whenever the court just said, basically, we don't care, you just work yourself to death, die, or whatever, was basically what they were telling me. And that's just when I went off the rails, created a business, and did really good. And since that has basically supported my family, whether it's helping my parents out, my wife and daughter, my kids. These courts have done everything in their power to try to destroy that. They call it what it is. It's a prolonged, and they do it to a lot of people. It's a prolonged destruction of a family through separation, fear, financial coercion, professional punishment, and endless delays. And when you get stuck in these court battles. But yeah, they're trying to financially destroy my family by taking away my driver's license, my passport. I used to do a lot of work overseas. They took that venue away from me. I used to have a top secret SCI and above that clearance. They took that away from me. Or I just couldn't renew it because of the debt to income ratio. But it hurts my kids. It hurts my family. It's, again, we'll call it financial torture, psychological torture, what it is. My wife, Sky, she has seizures. She had a recent brain surgery a couple of years ago. It hurts my ability to care for her. So, yeah, I'm not the only one getting tortured here. My family, my wife and daughter with her get drug into this, I need to be able to support them financially and physically. And
that's what originally drew me to your story. When you're hearing thousands and everything, it was just this, are you effing kidding? First of all, it's illegal anywhere else in the financial world to garnish 65% of anyone's salary except for family court.
Oh, that's before they're taken out. So.
Right. Because that's cruel and unusual punishment, another violation of the Constitution, right? Because when you have this town without a police force set up and you can get away with anything, and there's years that go by, every single month they figure out another way to make money, another way. Look at Corey, okay? All right. They're not getting rich off him, right? They're not getting rich off him. And how stupid is it? Like, preventing your ability to work, actually. Now, at any point of your case, did you bring up this is fraud and let your own attorney know that?
Oh, I had an attorney in the very first part of it. I spent probably about $30,000 on him within a year. And after that, just out of money. So the attorney, well, we don't have more money. Can't represent you. I don't think he did a great job anyway, but he's just trying to get me to lay down, take it, to accept like every other weekend. And like, bro, no, I'm a fit, loving parent. Unless you adjudicate me unfit and show me something, I should have near 50-50. And again, I'm kind of an asshole in this regards to the judges. I say, what compelling interest do you have to come interfere in my life versus what you would do with a married person's life.
Okay, you stepped over the line to question their power. Okay,
I did, and that Judge Nobles, and I tried to have her recuse us. I remember her one day, and every hearing she had was forced in private chambers, even against my objection. No, this needs to be in public. People need to hear. I need people here. Private chambers, but
in private chambers. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely illegal, and another example of pissing all over the Constitution. Okay, due process means everyone hears everything. Both sides hear all the evidence, which if you look at my or Richard Luthman's article about Kavanowski's kangaroo court, Connecticut kangaroo court, you get a absolute, front page look of how predetermined these court things are. And here you're seeing something else. Again, the overall theme I want everyone to understand here is you've built this garden, right? You've built this garden of shit, right? This town without a police force where anything goes. Your head can't wrap around it. No one has ever lived. We've known for eons human beings cannot exist in a lawless society. They cannot. All right. It's called dystopia, right? And it's where you're running from, whoever's the strongest warlord at the time. We are on a crash course to being Guatemala, right? And there's so many Americans walking this planet today, just sitting there saying, no way, no. America, fuck yeah, greatest country in the world. Have you ever been to another country? No. Okay. Let me tell you something. On a fundamental basis, no, not anymore. Okay. I'm American through and through. You're looking at two patriots right here. All right. There's a lot we do for our country. A lot more than people are doing right now. And that's fine. Okay. There's a lot of people out there that I know you're at different stages of this. And I want to again remind everyone, okay, before we get back to Corey, that there is a way to participate in the Warrior Project confidentially. All right, as well. We do not want to dissuade, okay, or ignore or keep out people that for whatever reason, okay, and real reason, you're worried about retaliation. Okay. I think what you're going to realize, unless we break this soon, okay, is that everything that we've said is going to come true in your case as well. And when you feel that there's nothing else, to lose, that you will be in this position to say, no, I'm ready to step forward. I'm ready to name names now. I'm ready to name names. But we have a new technology system, okay, that is able to you're able to email in all of your court documents, feed it into our AI stack that we've pre-built in, answering 150 questions that is built to identify this system as a nationwide racketeering system. But you'll also have the ability to be able to ask questions about your own case. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I've set up a structure that supports our convictions. All right. I'm providing this for free for everybody, up to 20 questions about your own case. After 20 questions about your own case, what you're doing is you're saying, I still believe there's a way to win this in court. And there's not. And our belief system is that there is not. So if you want to waste your time on that, you're paying for that. I'm not paying for that. Okay. So being honest, this is the structure of what was set up. So I just want to put that out there. But I mean, please expand upon, because you're a typical guy in the sense that the other way that they hide is in the complexity of all these years. There's all these stories, Corey, right? Like to get your head around your whole story, right? Like how many dinners would we have to go to? To over the year, the volume of stuff that's going on, which is why we're trying to really just oversimplify everything, right? Corey Blanton, are you or have you ever been a criminal?
Never been a criminal. The only thing is that bench warrant from that Arkansas judge that he issued without
That's not real.
jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's
Bogus.
like saying I'm a criminal because I didn't show up for the fake court of the fake arrest that was published in the press that I was not in the country by way of my passport stamps. No, I'm not
I
counting.
mean, I technically wasn't there either. You know, I barely even resided in that state. I live outside of state. It's just a place I bought for my family, trying to get Sky and Lake and nice and set it because I do everything for my family. Got them my house, got them everything there, got everything set up. You know.
Can I ask you one question?
You ask me as many questions you want.
How much do you love your kids?
Infinitely enough to fight to the very end for them. Like, I mean, they tried to terminate my rights back in, I think, 24 or whatever, you know, like, no, I fought that off too. Again, going back to Florida, they had a jurisdiction, you know, I had that dismissed with prejudice. But again, after that, once I had that dismissed with prejudice, they came back and started trying to arrest me after that. Like, oh, you don't want to give your kids up? We're going to put you in your place. They told me, you know, even the judge there, he said, you know, you're lucky I don't have jurisdiction over you. And you know, you shouldn't say that on the record. That's definitely prejudicial. But yeah, like I say, I would go to the end of the world. Like everything I make goes to those kids. Right now, I live in exile, but I'm doing what I can. I told Sky, I said, I'm going to work as long as I can, as hard as I can to make sure whenever they finally take me down, or if they take me down, that you and Lakin and Hadley and Owen and Sailor are good to go. You know, you guys are. They take me out.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna add. I was like, I just finished a 2-week vacation with my kids here in Europe, and I got a chance to finally say to my daughter, and I was like, look her in the eyes and just be like, you know, no, I would literally take a bullet for you. I'd literally jump in front of a bullet for you. All right, and that's what doesn't make me special because that's what every real dad would do, and so many real dads out there, and the science is in. You take a look at the science of dads that are involved in families versus dads that are not. It's not even close. And they know this. And how is it that they're keeping this unaddressed? You know what, Corey? Because I love my dad. Okay. He's taking the whole family on family vacation right now. And I didn't even want to bother him with the complexity of why I shouldn't travel right now. Because you wouldn't get it, right? But like that generation, if it didn't show up on the Channel 5 News, it didn't happen, right? In their subconscious, right? They could tell you, oh, this is reasonable. I like Corey. I believe him. His story's a little wild, but their subconscious doesn't believe you. Doesn't believe you because it's that sinister, right? By cutting out and buying off the corporate media, right? By this not showing. I've been calling Sarah Wallace from NBC News every week for the past 3 months. And I'm going to keep calling her every single week. Now, Sarah, you're one of the good ladies out there. Sarah Wallace did a piece on Judge Waterman from Waterman Marshall or something like that from Manhattan 2 August ago. I want to say August 24, I want to say. That's Sarah Wallace from the INBC team. All right, please search for it on Google. Wallace, Wallas, Sarah as Sarah from NBC. This was the only time I've seen a investigative report on a judge in the family court, and she did a fantastic job. She didn't veer from the hard questions. She highlighted how this disgusting judge sentenced this doctor who only works with autistic kids to 6 days in Rikers Island because he could not get his money out of his 401k plan. There was some, controversy about. The bottom line was he was ordered to pull money out of his retirement plan to pay his wife's attorney, and the judge, that's what she ordered. And because he didn't do it by that date, the hammer that she threw is she put in a guy who never got a speeding ticket, a doctor that works with autistic kids, into one of the 10 worst prisons on the planet, which I've been to and I can attest to. Not that I've been to all of them to do a comparative analysis, but when they say that, I do believe it. Okay. Because when you're there, the torture is real about gang rape. What am I going to do if I get gang raped? You know, that's the fundamentals supporting their business, Corey, right?
Oh, yes,
For-
yeah.
I mean,
Another one of their intimidation
you're
tactics.
garnishment. We had Dustin Wichman on not that long ago. He underpaid. There was other things, but he underpaid his child support by 2 cents. All right, and they threw him in jail for 35 days. Not Rikers, okay, but so Sarah Wallace a couple of years ago, she did a great piece, and she ended on, and we looked at how many complaints existed for this judge, and I believe I want to say it's not going to be misrepresentation because it's going to be close. She said that there was another 60 or 65 complaints about the same judge for the same behavior. But here's the highlight I want to point to, right? At the very end of the case, Frank Parlato, I believe, no, he did another piece on it. No, Sarah Wallace in this piece, explained that at the very end, when he was being sentenced, when this doctor was being sentenced to jail for not pulling $11,000 out of his 401k plan, he said, Judge, can you please make arrangements? I live alone. I'm single. I have a dog that needs to be cared for. Will die unless someone's notified takes care of the dog. And this piece of shit looked him in the face and said, no. The only way that dog survived is 2 days later, neighbors heard the dog yelping in such pain and anguish that they called the super to basically break the door down, or not break the door down, get in, okay, and find a dog that was starved of food and water. Now get yourself into, honey, get it off. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
This monster sat there, okay. We've normalized. The weird part about it is, if I put a piece out that was half a joke, half not. I said, you want to get people to care about the Middle East globally? Go have like 10,000 puppies dropped onto the Gaza Strip, and watch the puppies dying, and then you'll see the entire world demand change. Right? We're only half kidding about that. This monster did that, right? For what purpose, right? Like, it's certainly
Ego, power, money.
to teach that doctor and everybody watching in that system, this is the level of evil we'll go. Yeah, we'll kill your dog. We'll kill your dog. Okay. And Judge Waterman Marshall, bring it. Bring your lawsuit. Okay, because I'm telling the absolute truth. Okay, it's already in the record books. Okay, and I've already proven your backer, the Bar Association, is the largest regulatory fraud of all times. So I'm sort of having to take that segue there, buddy. All right, but this torture that this doctor was put in, right? Like, what happened when he told all his friends what happened to him, or like when he got out and everything? Like what does his life look like 5 years later? Just like yours, 5 years later, right? It's this absurdity, right? It's this absurdity. Like you can't even tell people the truth about what's actually gone on with you in these court systems, because it's just the nature of the content is just not believable, right?
I mean, it's hard to think of, especially if you go into it naive, like I first did, thinking, oh, okay, the court's going to work like I see it on TV. No, it's call it what it is. It's torture. It's like a prolonged, severe psychological suffering they drag out and out. And you just feel helpless, like this total sense of helplessness. You watching your children grow up, they're growing up without you, they're missing you, you're missing them. people like me under the constant threat of incarceration, not because I committed any crime, but just because I will fork over money to the state instead of take care of my kids directly. I mean, state actually tries to interfere with that, but I will take care of whatever those kids need. They create fear inside my household. Man, Sky, I mean, she's been in tears sometimes wondering, are the police going to break down the door? Because I mean, they've come there several times, and again, I haven't been there in years.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that a minute, because I can speak to that as well. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? The human brain, the human being needs food, water. What's third on the list? Safety.
Yep.
Safety. Right? Safety.
Yeah, I had the whole property fenced in just to stop that.
So this whole America's Auschwitz is based upon removing that sense of safety from everyone's life and having that spill over, right? I sat there, like, I put up, when I figured out, part of the Warrior Project plan is to get ahead of their next move and have enough eyeballs on you, right? So summer of 23, my ex's lawyer put in the next, a scam idea is to say that I harassed my wife, because my ex-wife, because wife still whatever, because this is the time period where my daughter recorded her and gave me the recording, and it was a fly on the wall, and it was a game changer. It provided the child's voice, who is never heard, and that's another major campaign we want to put out to everybody, is Jessica Strong's daughter submitting her piece, and my daughter's wanted to come and get involved in the project in a bigger way, but she never sees anybody her age, right? And her whole time, like, she wanted to speak to the judge. She's like, my voice is not heard. Like, what about me? What about me? What about my voice? What about what? And these kids have had nothing, zero, and we just want to make sure, and we just let them know open, we are the place. If you want your voice heard, make it heard here. Get it on the public ledger. It is valid. It is urgent. It is important for the world to record and register what you witnessed, how you responded to this. Right now, if we could just segue a little bit back to your situation here. All right, Corey, we said from the beginning, we are a efforts-based meritocracy, right? The more you put in, the more you're going to get out, right? We had just opened up the store, thought we'd do much better selling shit. We haven't had enough people to run it. It's nobody's fault. Okay. But what little money, I think we may have made like $6-7 grand. Okay. On this, we wanted to make a contribution to Corey's situation. A vet who's having his wages garnished 65%. Well, I called up to follow up with him to give it to him, and he's Dave. He goes, "No, man, listen, I not gonna give too much." It was like once again, I found a way to land on my feet.
Let's find a way.
And I just believe out of I think we had 15,000 people at that point. You were like, there's other people in greater need, and this hero refused $1,000. Okay, it's only $1,000, but it was $1,000 going directly to his kids, which we later learned would likely never get to them.
They still weren't able to cash the Amazon gift cards I sell them, as far as I know, anyway. But
right, but still, the point is still there.
Yeah,
so many people out there would never. Okay, you've been through all of this. They've stolen so much of your money. You're offered money, and I just want to put on permanent public record the character. Okay. The character of the people that we're talking about here. This Judge Waterman Marshall sat there, and some guy she knows is not a criminal says, my dog's going to starve or die, and you have the ability to take 20 seconds of your life to say, deal with it, and you chose not to. That's her character. And the character of this gentleman that you're seeing in front of you here is someone that's been through hell after giving 10 years of service to this country to say, no, there's other victims that are in greater need of this contribution. All right, because at the end of the day, international courts they want to get this lost in minutia, get this lost in all the chaos theory and everything. And I'm going to do my best to just bring things back to just very core concepts. What is the character of the people that we are exposing on the wall of shame versus the people that we are revealing on the wall of fame? On the wall of fame. This is your judge, Linda Nobles?
That was the first one. She was, man, she was rough. So,
but the thing is, you realize, you think it's about her, right? When you're going through it,
it's systemic, you know. She's
and
one of many tyrants out there.
Shaking the wheel, like she's just like there's nothing special.
There's one's before her, one's after her. It's just that the system needs to be abolished. I mean, it's just
fit the profile. She fit the profile. The highest probabilities are that she is a woman over 40 with no children of her own. That's the highest probability. All right. To sit there and say that they have an ego problem, you hand them a black robe and call them your honor. Your honor. It just fundamentally, Corey, right? Like, what does that set up? Right? Because I keep saying, like, if this world goes up in smoke, it's going to be from the deadliest combination of two things: judicial discretion, nuclear weaponized by the largest regulatory fraud of all times, giving judges like Judge Linda Noble the ability to do whatever she wants, commit felonies, change the definition of English words, violate due process, violate logic, engage in mass child abuse, designer child trafficking, what have you. We've already proven it here. Okay. They're only, sometimes I just have to pause, man, and just take a step back and just say, how did everybody survive this so far?
My kids, like, I mean, if it would just been me, I would have probably gotten it a long time ago. But and especially whenever I met Sky, I got married to her, we had Lakin. It's just like I'm totally dedicated to whatever they need. I mean, I live in a camper, and I work my butt off, hustling, doing whatever I can to make sure, and then every need is provided for. Now, even though the state of Arkansas would do everything they can, taking my nursing license, taking my driver's license, taking my passport, destroying my credit, no borrowing capacity, destroying my ability to travel for employment, like everything, my freedom. I'm always under constant threat of arrest because of this bogus civil bench warrant. And again, I'm just a dad out here trying to provide for my family, take care of my family, live and let live. And it really sucks. I'm not the only one getting dragged into this. My daughter Lakin, thank God she's too young to really understand. She's only 3.
But what I was also trying to get to is, let's take somebody that you would think would be the last person affected by this, right? Your new wife, all right? Having to sit there and absorb your trauma in real time.
She does.
Being connected to you and what effect that has on her. All right. This system is systematically destroying people like hers, emotional stability, potentially for life, but certainly requiring mental health treatment. All right. So that this runs far and wide. It's not just me and you, like the people like directly in the line of fire.
And if they take me out, I mean, what's going to happen with the insurance? Who's going to take care of her seizures or her brain surgery? Like, again, if they take me out, where's the insurance? I mean, these judges do not care. They probably use it as a coercion tactic to try to hurt your family. I mean, this Judge Bailey in Arkansas is insane. I've never met the guy, never seen him. Again, I've barely even been in the state of Arkansas.
Amy, please put up the picture of Judge Bailey. Let's make sure we have him. Can we do that?
Nobody can say that I don't take care of my kiddos, man. Like, say it's whatever they want. Again, like, say just this yesterday.
Judge Andrew Bailey of Arkansas, you are absolutely welcome, sir, to provide any and all evidence that you have that this gentleman, Corey Blanton, is lying. All right. We welcome and we swear on my children's lives. If you provide information that Corey Blanton is lying about anything, we will publish it because this is the truth and transparency machine. It's bigger than everybody. All right. At the end of the day, if you need a religion, this is a pretty good one. All right. We will absolutely, sir. And I want to let you know, for all the judges that are on our wall of shame, every one of you have the opportunity to be removed by owning your shit. Own your shit. All right. Own the truth. And then you'll come out. You'll never do that because it's going to open you up to all these lawsuits and you're such an egotist and you're pretending right now that this is not a part of history and the clock isn't ticking. I know how you think. But the thing is, we're going to just keep doing this. We're going to keep putting your picture up and we're going to keep asking, as I'm asking now, an APB to the world for all other families that have been harmed by this Andrew Bailey, or if you have had a positive experience in the court with Judge Andrew Bailey in Arkansas, please get in touch with the Warrior Project at help@fraudwarrior.org. Okay, Corey Blanton case. All right. Yep. All you need to do, it's being looked after and vetted and answered to on a daily basis. We are more interested in the future than the past. We're more interested in the future than the past. What's your game plan now, buddy? What's your game plan now? You've had a broken bond with how many children? What age?
It's my daughter Hadley. She's 11. My son Owen, 14. That's where dealing with my ex-wife. That's the two kids in question right there. That's where I'm having the issue at. The bond, I'll say it's been broken since 2017 because it's been contentious since the beginning. But since she got that final order in 2021, again, her being out of state, me being out of state, everything being super complicated, since February 2021, I have not been able to physically see the kids. The grandparents, she totally cut them off. Won't let them call the kids, talk to the kids, and they were a significant part of those kids' lives. So they get hurt. They're in their 80s. They're gonna die soon. And even when my dad got really sick, I was like, say, hey, would you let them at least talk to Owen Hadley? He's really sick, and nothing. Crickets. I'm like, dude, this is insane. Because kids, they not only have a bond with the parents, they have it with their cousins and their grandparents and their extended family. That's getting interfered too. That's torture that these courts put them through. It ain't right. I don't know why America stands for it. I don't know why this keeps happening. Again, fighting it, I can attest. Me finding out through the courts, and he could look at my stuff in detail. I have pretty good arguments. Do they win? Probably about 75% of the time. No.
Corey, but the larger sense, you're trying to legitimize something specifically designed to be illegitimate, right?
Yes.
I painted the picture this way. Like, remember, you're young and yeah. But you ever see the movie Escape from New York with
Oh yeah, Snake
Plissken, and all that, right? Crime rate has gotten so bad in America, they had to just turn the island of Manhattan into a prison, and they just said, "Screw it, we're going to let them live like animals." I say, now picture yourself walking into court with your lawyer in that movie. That's about the level of relevance, the details, the legalities in these cases matter. Because the only thing that matters is judicial discretion times I can never be in trouble for any way I want to make money.
Judicial immunity, yeah. And
That's it. I keep asking these guys over here, like on Wall Street, I was like, could you imagine if there was no SEC for a week? What would happen? Right? There was no regulator to the financial markets, like that movie, The Purge, or whatever the hell it is. And people laugh and can't get their head around it. But it's like, oh no. But this thing about destroying families, destroying the bonds of children, destroying the mental health of children, destroying the country from within, right? As a vet, I want to end here, and we can have a follow up. But we've been asking a lot of
Anytime for sure.
our customer, our members. You know what I mean? And it's really breaking me too, honestly. You know, we living all these stories too and stuff like that. So we said that we would try to start keeping things to shorter periods. And I do want to end this like pretty soon at the hour mark, but I want to call attention to this like closing core concept, right? Like Corey Blanton, okay, is a United States veteran for 10 years. He put his life on the line for this thing called the Constitution, for our free speech, for our due process, for the only fucking reason why we run the world. I hate to tell you, everybody, okay, the reason why America runs the world isn't because they have certain type of soil in Corey's town that makes him grow up, you know, shooting fireworks out of his ass. Okay. It's the Constitution. You know, there's no other governing document in the world, in any country, that lasts over 30 years, and ours goes 250 years, right? They predicted exactly what I am in right now 250 years ago. Okay. So the closing comment is like combining these two factors around the Constitution, right? A father who hasn't had his bond broken with his child. Now, maybe Corey's like, let's be devil's advocate, right? Let's say Corey is like this secret, you know, rageaholic and screaming yeller abuser, this whatever. Like he's not a criminal, but he's not a good guy, right? But the punishment factor, right? The removal of the child, the level of cruel and unusual punishment. Who pays the price? Who pays the price?
The kids pay the worst price.
A lot of money, about a money situation. I'm gonna let you take the floor and leave this with what you want to say. I'd like to ask you what's called you to take these risks, to take this approach, to be a part of this project, to be such a vehement supporter of this project. Why are you doing what you do?
Let's go back to 2020 after that motorcycle accident. That's when it clicked in my head. Like these court, they do not care if you die. They just money. That is all they want. They don't care about the kid. They don't care about the mom, the dad. They're zeroed. The state is zeroed in on money. I realized that. And I just started on a mission after that. And my life got better after that for sure, because I went off the reservation per se. And I knew that they are going to come after me no matter what. I could play by their fake rules and smile at them, say, "Your Honor, this, Your Honor, that." What they're tyrants, I'll call them what they are. So yeah, that's yeah. And again, like you say, the media getting stuff out in public is the offense side of it. Legal is the defense, kind of a pitiful defense in family law, because the Constitution, they wipe their ass with the Constitution there. So I mean, the system has to be abolished. I don't even think you could be reforming it. Nowhere else in America can a father, a mother, or kids' rights just be taken absent any kind of crime, absent any. Of course, allegations fly, mud gets slung, and they love that in family court. They want parents to fight it out and be a winner or a loser, who's the best mom, best dad, or they want that. They love that divide and conquer. Again, Machiavellian kind of stuff there. But nowhere else in America can your life, liberty, freedom, personal property, parent-child can just be taken away. Can just be taken away on a judge's opinion. And again, if you make allegations, like if it's criminal, go to criminal court where there's actually.
It's not a judge's opinion. It's an organized crime. They figured out the business model. Corey has a stable income that they can attach an annuity to, a payment annuity to. Okay. And I know half the world out there is thinking that they create these QSIPs on Wall Street and a bond and this and that and everything. And you know what? Maybe it's true. All right. But it's not the weakest door of the castle. I've worked in structured investments for 30 years. I'm one of the top people in the world in that space. And if that happened, they'd be hiding such a tremendously huge pool of trillions of dollars that could never have been in a money market account earning interest anywhere, because then that would have to show, right? It would have to be a completely different technology system, completely off the radar, that the top 29 banks in the world have all kept quiet over these years. And there's just, I can't put the piece. The point is when they have trained you in the family courts that nothing you do will ever be successful, and then they torture you with taking your kids, and your brain is in that much distress, you're going to react in one, two ways. You're going to say, no, world, you need to listen to me. Okay. And this is what I want to also end on and say as a thank. And it really makes sense that Corey is a military man. All right. Because this has not been Corey could have taken his notoriety and said, F you, I'm going to go and start the Corey Blanton show on my own Facebook page and be, hey, world, look at me. No, he is stuck with the project and supported the project. So Dave, you're the general. Okay, if you need a lieutenant, you need a sergeant, you need a foot soldier, I'm offering what time I have, which working 16-hour days is not a lot. All right. And he has done more working 16-hour days than a lot of our 22,000 that don't work anywhere near that. He is an American hero. He is going down in history. And we're going to end on that note. Thanks, everybody, for being a part of the solution. And please spread the word that we need everyone to turn their phone around and give us 3 to 5 minutes of their torture. They remember the worst parts of their torture. And if you want to do yours again, okay, Corey, you think of another aspect of it, do it again. Because every single day, we are going to show another American describing and being able to look into his or her eyes what torture they have been through. Okay. Corey Blanton, thank you very, very, very much for your time. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service to this organization. And thank you for being an example of what a real fucking dad is in this world. Love you, brother.
Thank you for your dedication too, man. Yeah.